Good evening. Thanks everybody for joining tonight. This is the season 2021 with the episode 13 of the Oklahoma Sooners football podcast and episode 9 of the live stream. Tonight I'm joined by Gavin and I am joined again by Sean. Sean, how you doing tonight after a week off?
There's no AEW pay-per-view tonight, so that's why I'm here.
And we're also live streaming again on Sunday versus Monday.
Yep.
How you feeling, Gavin?
Feel pretty good. Just kind of seeing what I got so far, but we'll go into that in just a little bit.
So, yeah, how's your fantasy team going?
Surprisingly pretty decent actually. I mean, one team that I actually had Tyreek Hill, and that 75-yard bomb actually helped me out quite a bit. I don't know how Mahomes does it, but it's that Mahomes magic, I guess you could say. Either that or basically a Browns collapse as usual.
Absolutely. I'm facing against Patrick tonight, and unfortunately for him, he decided to start Aaron Rodgers over Jameis Winston, which was a very poor life choice.
Yeah, can we just go ahead and just put Aaron Rodgers in jeopardy now, because I think his career's in jeopardy.
I mean, he doesn't care at this point. He's been wanting to go somewhere else anyway.
Timing!
So, yeah. So, how'd y'all enjoy the game over the weekend? For those of us who got to watch it, not me.
Hey, I mean, it was quite the beatdown we were kind of expecting, if anything, a little bit. I actually watched it. I missed like the first 4 minutes because I was on the phone with the DirecTV guy for nearly 20 minutes, and he would not hang up with me, saying, "Thank you so much for your service, all that, and everything." I was like, dude, please hang up. I just want to watch the game.
I mean,
that's where you just hang up on him.
I would just say, if anything, that I would just say it was somewhat better from what I can tell. Now we'll have to see when it's in Nebraska, but at least it was like, at least like the effort and the execution was a lot better from what I saw, than compared to that what we saw last week. So. I mean, I will say this. I mean, it's like at least we got some good reps for some of the second and third string guys. So I kind of would say at least it was better, from an execution standpoint. But I'm not going to be something to where, point my chest out or anything. So that's kind of what the main point of it was for me.
What about you, Sean? How did your live stream go, and what did you think of the game?
Well, my feed that I watched at times decided to travel through time. Backwards, forwards, you know how that goes. Where I'd be watching at one point the second quarter, it would rewind out of nowhere to the middle of the first quarter. That happened on occasion, but I was still able to comprehend and watch what happened. So that was entertaining. That will be the last time I do that this year. Might have to do it one more time next year. But excuse me. Western Carolina is a bad FCS team. I mean, we knew that going in. This isn't Montana or North Dakota State or Jacksonville State or anything like that.
Gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, Jacksonville State has some players. They're one of those programs that get like the 5 stars that get kicked out and can't get in Power 5 anymore. They're one of those
last
schools.
chance you type of schools.
Yeah.
Not quite there. They're not JUCO, but the point being, Oklahoma did exactly what they were supposed to do to a bad FCS team. And that's really the only thing you can really take away from this. Radler made throws he should have. Eric Gray that's what Eric Gray's supposed to look like. Hazelwood got some catches. Mario Williams is getting a little more comfortable in the offense. So this was a glorified scrimmage to get your bearings straight. The defense, did what they had to do. They looked good. Certain guys were awesome. They were able. This is a game where you can rotate guys in and still keep a goose egg on the board, and you can actually get a feel for who are going to be your guys. Latrell McCutcheon got the start at corner because he was one of the few bright spots last week, consistently playing, even as a true freshman. He's a 5-star, so he's living up to that mantle as of right now. I assume he will start this week. Woody Washington got a little bit dinged up. Billy Bowman's a little dinged up. According to Josh McCuistion, he's going to be out a couple games or whatever, but nothing too serious, apparently. Danny Stutzman, who had an amazing third quarter, is a guy who's going to be a big-time linebacker for this program. He injured his arm or elbow. It looked like it was something. We're still kind of waiting and praying on that one. If we lost him for the year or for a long period of time, it would suck, but it wouldn't be like it's not like the running back situation right now, but it would be great if Danny Stutzman could get back and healthy, because he's been getting nothing but praise all off. So he's one of those guys that you keep hearing about. So if he can get back and get healthy, or get one of those robot arms that Manny Johnson had one time, and he had like a hyperextended elbow or whatever, that would be great as well.
Yeah, the brace,
yeah. So if it's something like that where he's like, I want to go out there and play coach, because he's a crazy person apparently. Gabe Perkins is going to win the Groza at this point, because he's just keep hitting 50+ yarders every game.
He actually hit one. I think it was like tied his career long.
Yeah, he had a 50, but he had a 56 yarder, and he would have hit it from 66. It was like, I have nightmares or visions that he's going to have to do a kick that long in like a game that really matters at some point this year, and it's going to be like, oh god, I trust him, but I don't want this. I trust him, but I don't want this. One of those things.
But
but weren't you the one, Sean, though, who said like you would trust him with a 60-yarder, but not like a 30-yarder?
Well, based on last week, yeah, because he I mean, you saw what happened last week. You saw what happened in overtime against Texas. Like, he shaked a 30-yarder. Why? But the point of the matter is that I was very disappointed in Lincoln Riley for scoring that last touchdown. That score was not nice. The score he had previously was nice. But it would have made it. You would have gotten internet credit. But OU was in witness protection this week, and during witness protection, the FBI came back and said they're allowed to come out and play in front of the public again on national television, and that's what they'll do on Sunday against Nebraska. I would suggest, this is just me, I would think it'd be a great idea to do, maybe not to that extent, but something similar on the Big Noon kickoff on a national stage, where if you could put up like half 100 and let them score like 0 points, maybe give them 10 as a courtesy, because they're Nebraska, they're all buddies in the Big 8. That would be fantastic. I would love to go into conference play looking like a national title contender, but that's just me. So, in
all seriousness, how much of a can of whoop ass is OU about to open up on Nebraska this coming weekend?
If this season has taught us anything so far, I'm not going to go into that game as of Sunday night going, yeah, we're going to roll them. And like, I'm going to go to that game going, I hope we're still consistent. I hope the team we saw this past Saturday is the same one that shows up this week, as opposed to the team we saw in game 1. With that being said, I think we'll see something a little more consistent. This team had a come to Jesus moment. They got their asses chewed out, and Western Carolina was the perfect team to play against. There wasn't any pressure. It was on pay-per-view. You had a full packed house that striped the stadium okay, I guess. It
looked good. It looked good. I mean, at least from the pictures and everything, it was impressive.
Yeah. We got through a full day of like 9/11 stuff, which you could not escape, even if you tried, because it was gonna be talked about all day. Especially
with it being 20 years, it was
all day. You're gonna hear about it. It's like I know, and I'll leave it at that. But overall, just the broadcast for the pay-per-view was not as annoying as there's been in some years past. Like, I think a really annoying one this is like almost 10 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, where it's the first game of the year and it's on paper. I forgot who we're playing, and like we're trying to like see who's doing well and everything, and like they're talking to a guy from Duck Dynasty on the sidelines, like, we're trying to watch the freshman wide receivers. Get back to the game. We don't care about that. Like, it's like I need to go dig up that game and find out which one it was. It drove me insane. I gotta do a whole segment on the worst pay-per-view game moments that drove you insane that nobody remembers. That's my number one right there. It's like, I don't care about Duck Dynasty guy.
I remember now. Preface saying that I don't think that he got chewed out on it, but do you remember the spring game when they had the camera behind like the quarterback?
Oh, you're talking about the baseball director for that spring game, and it was just awful to watch. And it was just so. It's like the guy had never directed a football game before. It's like, dude, you keep it like, upper sideline view, and that's where you keep it. Like, don't move, don't get. This is not. I don't care about your artistry with like your camera. Like, let's move the camera. This isn't pro wrestling. I don't need multiple camera angles. Like, he's whipping him to the corner. Corners. It's like, this isn't Monday Night Raw. Just keep it there. Like, you switch the camera when the play is over or a guy is about to go into the end zone, whatever it is. Like that. Those are your moments. But anyway, enough about that crap.
Well, if I recall, that was the time I was still at Sooner Vision, and he was so proud of that game. Like, he had the best camera angles, and I was like, no, you didn't, dude. If I recall, too, they were like, they didn't shoo him out, but it was, don't do that again.
I'm so proud. It's like, it was impossible to watch your game, dude.
I want to say that was the Blake Bell game. I really do. But, yeah, he was so proud of it. He was so proud of the angles he got. I'm like, bro, no, that was bad viewing. I'm sorry. No matter how much you want to spin it or move those goalposts or do some mental gymnastics.
The ball snaps, and then we're waiting for the play to develop, and the camera angle changes in mid-play. It's like, wait, what? Stop that. No, don't do that.
No. So, yeah.
So what happened to the play? I don't know. I don't know what happened to the play because the camera angle changed in the middle of it. So
you don't know what happened to the play because you time traveled. Speaking of that, by the way, I have a funny story for you, Sean, from this game. So you told it to me a while back, and it happened to me. I finally have been inducted into the YouTube family because I put my preview vid up for Western Carolina, and I started checking the numbers like 6:30. I was like, oh, yeah, I better check because I uploaded only a couple hours before. And I had almost 1,000 views on it. I'm like, what? Why are people clicking this? I'm like, did I finally get discovered? Is this finally my moment? No, it finally clicked to me of, oh, no, they're trying to find the live stream and they're clicking it.
Yeah, same thing happened to me yesterday. I actually planned for that. So I had my watch along, and then as soon as that game was over, I immediately did my recap. And of course, like, this is where the assholes come out and are like, clickbait! It's like, you're looking for a pirate stream, so fuck you. And
they were sailing the high seas.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry. You apparently can afford internet, but you can't find you're not clever enough to use the internet to find a stream, or you're too stupid to go buy the pay-per-view or whatever. Either or, not my problem. So I've dealt with a few of those over the past 24 hours, but I had a massive day yesterday. I will miss pay-per-view from that regard. We'll probably have one more next year, but I will miss pay-per-view because like yesterday was like a 25,000 view day. Great stuff. Always good stuff.
Cha-ching. You know, I told it to Dad, and he was like, how do you know that it was just people clicking? I'm like, because the average viewership of it was like 10 seconds. They knew it wasn't a live stream.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm like,
happens.
Doesn't matter for me, though. Hey, that's the highest one so far. I will happily take that.
As long as you watch the ad in front of it, I don't care.
Yep.
I'm all good.
Yep. So yeah, I figured I don't have the ad stuff right now. I'm just enjoying it in the moment. But
yeah, you're it's going to take you a minute. You got to build up, but
oh yeah, but hey, it's still fun. In my opinion, it's still fun.
I was just and it carried over to today too, and I was just like, "Ooh, this is going to be fun." So,
well, and that's the funny part with mine with it, where I made it very clear, like, this is just a preview video. This is not a.
Oh, they don't care. It's still your fault. You're still a horrible human being for.
Well, I trick them.
Clickbait! You're clickbaiting me. It's like, no, I clearly labeled the video that this was something different. So,
anyway, I did want to ask, because since I didn't watch the game with it, Sean, you and Gavin, y'all both mentioned about Stutzman with it and his injury. Is there any inklings of what it's supposed to be like? Because I've heard three things. I've heard it was his head, I heard it was shoulder, and then I even heard spaghetti knee.
No, it was an arm. Speaking of that game.
Yeah, it looked an arm, yeah.
He was holding his arm. He apparently has tried to go back into that game. Speaking of which, someone has oh wait, those are highlights. Someone has uploaded the game, I believe. Let's see if this is you.
Is it Holokyle?
No, he's retired.
That's depressing.
Isn't
Well,
it like Sooner Dude 101? I believe.
No, this is I won't say his name here, but it's a poster I know. Okay, maybe not yet. I'll go look for it later.
there was someone on Twitter when we speak about the pay-per-views and stuff as well.
See, I didn't go to someone's comment page and go clickbait. I didn't do that.
Well,
yeah,
that's depressing.
I actually have Sean and Josh. This is how I actually watched my game. I basically was watching on DirecTV, and I had like a feature that had like a picture-in-picture to where I watched both the OU game and the Texas game at the same time.
So you were watching the pay-per-view game on one screen and a snuff film on the other. Got it.
Yeah.
That game yesterday, I was very disappointed in Texas.
Are they back?
Yeah.
According to Steve from Blues Clues, they are not back.
I also want to say that this was probably such a bad day for the Big 12 yesterday. It really was. I mean, there's just no way about it. I mean, Texas and Iowa State, you had your chance to step up, and both of you guys fell flat.
I am not shocked that both of them lost. Because Iowa State just doesn't beat Iowa. It just doesn't happen. BYU found a way to beat Utah finally, though. Good for them, I guess.
12 years, I think.
I mean, if you want to say good day for the Big 12, I mean, Big 12 member BYU. No conference affiliation in football at the moment, so you can count it if you really want to. But for Texas, they were favored by 7. I'm not shocked. It's not that they lost. Like, they were just like, I don't know. Like, I knew that offensive line was not going to be good this year, and the 3 and outs. Because I went back and watched it, a little bit of it, like just the important parts, because I was obviously it's on the same time as OU, and I'm like, I got my TV here, I'm like going back and like, ooh. So Sark year 1 is basically doing what I thought Sark was going to do so far. Now, there was a lot of fool's gold from last week. They beat Louisiana, and I said, you're supposed to beat Louisiana because you're Texas. Mm-hmm. You're kind of supposed to beat Louisiana. So I don't want to, people ripping, you're going to lose to Louisiana. You're going to lose to them. The Raging Cajun. And then you pat your chest. We did it. It's like, no, you're supposed to win. Like, you don't get to celebrate that much. And then going this week, I don't know how good Sam Pittman's Arkansas team is going to be. Maybe they're going to take a big step this year. Maybe they'll win 8 or 9 games. Who knows? A lot of things are weird in college football right now. But to get blown out and just embarrassed and then have that fan base just rush the field like they won the Super Bowl. I mean, if you want to make fun of Arkansas, go right ahead. I don't care. It's like they want to rush the field, but they get a ranked win at home. This is a team that's been losing to North Texas and just they've been dreadful the past few years. So, but you got people saying, Hudson Card, if Casey Thompson was in the game. I got news for you. Casey Thompson may have made the loss less awful, but you still lose that football game.
Now, wasn't Casey Thompson originally from Oklahoma City, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah. See, Arkansas took the football and ran it up their proverbial asses for 4 quarters. It was 300 plus yards rushing. Casey Thompson can't stop that. So I don't want to hear Casey Thompson. He got 2 touchdowns late in the game when you were down 4 scores. So I don't want to hear this. And if Oklahoma's the team I hope they can be, this is the year they destroy them. This has to be the year they do. This can't come down to the 4th quarter again. This can't be a 1-score game. I know we're still weeks away from this, and we got to beat Nebraska. We got to beat West Virginia, and K-State season is over, by the way. But we'll get to that, I'm sure. But for Texas, there is this is my thing about Texas. And I'm not blaming it all on Sark because it's Sark took this job, so God bless him. But he takes the job. I'm like, oh man, Sark, the Nick Saban Rehabilitation Clinic, he's going to It's like, okay, the Nick Saban safety net is gone. This is still a guy who his best year was like 9-3 or 9-4. His absolute best. The others have been like 6-7 wins on average as a head coach. All right. But you're going to go with Sark. All right. And so you're believing into his quarterback development hype, which Texas as a program does not develop quarterbacks. You can point to Colt and Vince Young all you want. They don't develop them. Historically, they just don't. And so you start off, okay, this is going to be a rebuilding year. Because like everyone who paid attention to Texas, at least people who actually really paid attention to them and wasn't trying to make them a hype machine because look at all the recruits they got. Look at the recruiting at Texas. They've had the same recruiting for 10 years and they've been average and mediocre at best. You look at this and then the shonen power creep happens in the offseason. Y'all know what shonen power creep is. It's like, here's this character that shows up and all of a sudden, little by little, as time goes by, get a little stronger, get a little stronger, a little stronger. And we're seeing hype for them. It's like, they're going to be they'll be inside the top 10 rankings by the end of the season. Boom! Texas is like, how did we get here? This is year one. You have no offensive line. None. You lost two. You lost the Brockmeyer twins, who were legacy players because your previous head coach was a douchebag and talked crap behind their backs. Legacy football players that not 3 stars with 5-star hearts, legitimate 5-star prospects. At least one of them was.
Yeah, it's like losing Bradford or something for us. Like it's
it's like if Brian Bosworth had 2 sons who were going to end up being better than him, who were like Kenneth Murray times 1,000 or something, or whatever, and just like I have 2 of them, they're twins and they're eligible for right now. They'll commit and you lose them to Texas, or you lose them to Nebraska, or you lose them to Ohio State. That's what happened here. They have no offensive line. The defensive line for Oklahoma this year is going to assault them. It is going to be prison sex. I chose my words carefully. I chose my words carefully there. It's going to be bad. Now, you better throw Casey Thompson out there at this point because you need someone with a little bit of legs who can make some plays. So you better hope that David Agwebu or no one comes down and makes a play to stop him. But I'm telling you, it is like Bijan could not run the ball worth a damn. So if you want to tell me about Casey Thompson and wave his flag, you go right ahead. I have nothing against Casey Thompson, but if that's your answer, if you're going to flip-flop on quarterbacks, who Hudson Card was the man last week, it's just it is going to get ugly. If TCU is kind of so, I still think TCU will beat them at this point.
I absolutely do too. Texas just does not look good at all. I cracked the joke already of I really hope that they don't discover that magic pill that they always seem to find against us and become a world beater during OU Texas as of late, and then they go back to mediocre the rest.
And that's the thing. Can we put I know this football team can wipe the floor with them, but can they finish them off? Can we put the nail in the coffin this year and not have it come down to the bitter end? I'll take a win either way at this point, but we're talking about the Big 12, and we're talking about how things going with the conference. Mm-hmm. I'm struggling right now to find a marquee win in this league for Oklahoma right now.
It's funny you say that.
Unless Iowa State somehow regroups, if anything.
And they might.
And,
I don't think they are. They benched Purdy. I really don't think they are.
I mean, he threw 3-4 picks in that game or something.
Well, who you replacing him with?
Yeah, and he's
apparently the backup.
Well, he's got over 30, 40 starts as a starter there. He started there as a freshman.
Well, the problem with Iowa State is they try to do the same stuff Iowa does, but Iowa just does it better. Kirk Ferentz does it better. It's everyone is saying you hear Oklahoma and Iowa State. They could both make the playoff this year. No,
Nah.
Heather Dinich, no. I told you it was stupid then. It's not happening.
You know, it's funny, Sean, you said that because I checked out some of the message boards and Reddit threads after this game, and I mentioned it was like Death Taxes and Iowa beating Iowa State. It's just like us beating Oklahoma State. They can't just get over the Iowa hump. Well, and that I stated that, you know, they're not going to make it playoff at this point. I think that's pretty much done. And they were like, well, the playoff was never in the cards anyway. Yes, it was. That's what y'all were touting like the entire offseason. That it was that, well, it's okay. We beat y'all and we were the regular season champs. Yes,
I know Charlie Kolar was banged up last week, but even so, it's like Breece Hall barely did anything. It's like they returned like, what, 20 starters from last year?
And they looked bad.
It's like you were at home. You had game day. You had everything going your way. You had a crappy game week 1. And listen, I'm willing to give you a pass for week 1 because gosh darn, if I'm going to do it for Oklahoma, got to do it for everyone else, right? Because you know who else had a crappy week 1? The Oregon Ducks. And look what they pulled off.
God, they did.
They had they almost lost to Fresno State.
May I also add too that they were without their best player on defense, by the way.
2 of them. Justin Flo was out too. He was a highly touted recruit.
Yeah.
So it's just
Oregon came in wanting to beat Ohio State, and they put a clinic on them.
They just ran the same plays over and over again, and they couldn't stop them. It was a clinic. It was like if you play a guy online in Madden, and they just run the same play because you have no idea how to play defense, and you're just running like cover 2 every time just to pray to God you can do something. But they just run that same little read option that you don't know how to stop because you can't switch from man to zone, and you're just like, I can't this cheese the same play. That's what Oregon did, and it was hilarious. So
yeah,
and so you have Ohio State with an unexpected loss. I mean, I would argue Clemson got an unexpected loss with all the people Georgia was missing. Georgia had no business winning that football game last week with all the injuries. God knows what's going to happen with JT Daniels because, you know, with an oblique, you know, a strain, it could be he's just going to have to play through the pain or he's out for the year. To be determined with that. But I thought UAB would cover this yesterday. Boy, was I wrong on that. But Georgia looks good right now. So, and they got South Carolina, and they'll kill South Carolina. If they play like they did the other day, they'll kill South Carolina. Yeah. So, the AP poll, you got Bama, Georgia, and everyone in my stream last night is like, is Oregon going to jump Oklahoma in the AP
poll?
No. I'm like, what? Like, number 1, who cares? And number 2, no. It's like there's nothing to worry about there. They're not going to jump Oregon all the way to 3. It's like don't get me wrong. No. It's a big win, and we have to have like a.
I mean, you're probably going to be in the top 10 for sure, but you're probably going to be around near the edging that number 5 spot mostly.
No, they're at number 4, and they put them at number 4, and I have no problem with them at number 4. They put Iowa at number 5. Because they dominated. It's like, all right, you want to put Iowa at 5? That's fine. The AP poll.
That's what I was surprised at.
They dropped
A&M with A&M. You know, basically they somehow had to survive against Colorado. I mean, honestly, you really want to put A&M at number 5 after that? No.
Well, no, they're at they dropped number 7, but there is no God. Well, Colorado deserved to win that football game. Everything went against A&M. Colorado should have won that football game, but just. The Aggies failed upwards yesterday, so congratulations to them. I'm sure they're very upset they're dropping in the polls, but we're undefeated and Clemson has a loss. Like, you suck. Nobody likes you. Yeah. Haynes King out for God knows how long, and he wasn't that good to begin with this year from what little I saw of him. So I hope Zaldada or Zatara, whatever his name is. I'm just going to throw out names from my comic books at this point. Whatever his name is, I hope you going to put him against Bama. Like you could barely beat Colorado's defense. Oh, honey, you October 9th. You might want to call in sick on October 9th. Bama's going to show up and like, where's Texas A&M? They're out. They're calling in. It's a sick day for the Aggies.
Can you do that? Yes, apparently you can.
Everyone's got COVID. Aren't you all vaccinated? Yeah, Delta variant broke through, so we're all in quarantine.
You know,
win,
that's the thing that
Alabama.
made me laugh in your video, Sean, where you're like, I can't wait to see them get buzzsawed, because that's what's going to happen. They are going to get annihilated by Bama
in front of their home crowd. It's going to be hilarious to watch, because I've heard all off season how good A&M was last year, how they deserved to be in the college football playoff last year. After getting destroyed by Bama, they still deserved it. And I'm like, we got 2 losses. We're more deserving than you. It's like, I know we lost to K-State and Iowa State, but my God, at least we didn't get our asses handed to us on a silver platter.
Good night. Yeah.
It's like, oh, congratulations, Aggies. Your greatest season in the past 30 years was during a pandemic. Congrats on that Orange Bowl where North Carolina was missing most of their skill players. You know, we played a team missing most of their skill players too, and we destroyed them. It took you to the 4th quarter to finally pull away. So, you know, congratulations on the big victory last year, and you celebrate that Orange Bowl, because that's the only big-time trophy you're going to have for a while.
What are you talking about? They have that 2010 Co-Big 12 South Championship.
Oh, no, they have the fill-in. You gave Jimbo a raise and an extension for doing what?
Oh yeah, the Mad Libs trophy.
Oh yeah, the
they
Mad
have
Libs.
That one.
They have a Mad Libs trophy, absolutely. And until Nick Saban has to be like summoned to the next realm, like in Stargate SG-1. He has to ascend with the ancients or something. He has to go to the next plane of existence first before anyone's gonna have a shot in that conference. They looked like crap against Mercer and still won big. Saban's not going to be happy. I don't know. They play Florida next. They'll kill Florida.
Yeah, they'll play Florida.
I mean, Arkansas is interesting now because they're ranked, but I just think Texas is just bad. I think Arkansas is better coach, and they'll be like a bowl team this year. I'll give them that, but I don't think Arkansas is good enough to beat it. I mean, LSU still sucks. That'll be an interesting game, Arkansas and LSU this year. But overall, just you know what? Like, I know I'm rambling, but yesterday was fun. Week 1, we're all like miserable because we're the first game of the day, and Tulane just like soured a lot of our love of college football for that day. At least me. I'll speak for me. Today you get back and it's like college football was fun yesterday. I was like, this is what we missed. We didn't get this last year. Like Colorado almost pulling the upset, watching Oregon beat Ohio State, you know, we're watching a pay-per-view game or whatever, and seeing Texas get killed by Arkansas. All these things, like, I missed greatly. So it felt like college football was finally back after 2 years. Like last year was like a kind of a season, and we watched it and we all had fun to an extent, but that felt like college football yesterday. It felt so good.
Yesterday really reminded me of like 2007 again, where everything just is chaotic right now.
I ain't gonna go there yet. 2007 had multiple back, like we had like 5 or 6 straight different number 2 teams in the country back. Like South Florida was number 2 at one point. Cal was up there.
Wasn't Rutgers up there at one point?
Rutgers was like 06. I want to say. I think they beat Louisville one year.
Louisville was in one of that upsets, if I remember.
No, I think they beat Louisville one year. It was like a Thursday night game. I remember.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that, and they stormed the field in Jersey. So that was like an old Big East game, I think, back in the day.
It was Big East, yeah.
But yeah, just I'm trying to think of other games. God, USC looked like crap too. After Stanford like just destroyed them after losing to K-State the way they did.
Well, and I mean, mentioning that with K-State, well, I feel bad for Skyler, man. Like, again, probably out for the season.
Yeah, he's poor guy's cursed. I'm sorry. It sucks to say that.
I mean, I told it to my dad of when do you have the talk with him? Be like, bro, you keep getting injured. At some point, this is not a career for you.
I mean, I don't think he was ever going to be an NFL guy anyway, but it's just like, If you were hoping for an upset, like for all the people on the outside, K-State, Oklahoma, it's like Skylar Thompson was kind of the reason behind that.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, Deuce Vaughn's still going to be there, all due respect, but Skyler is the reason why we struggled. The dude could make plays. Dude's a fighter, and
Yeah, I mean,
take him. Once he went out of that game, that backup came in there, and it was strugglesville the rest of the way.
Oh, it was stagnant.
I mean, and I'm not saying he was on the same level, but I feel like he was like somewhat of the version of like that. I would say even better than the 20, almost like in the same level near that 2012 Colin Klein sort of deal. It's what it almost reminded me more than anything.
He's got an Ellinger vibe to me.
Kind of Ellinger a little bit.
He's got a little Ellinger vibe.
More of an Ellinger.
He gives you a puncher's chance.
Yeah, it just felt more like Colin Klein, where he basically snaps the ball and just basically waits for his O-line to develop the hole and everything and run through, if anything. It just sort of reminded me of that Colin Klein, back in 2012 or so.
And what sucks for Skyler, it was like a non-contact injury. It's not like someone nailed him. He was just trying.
He was running and he started hopping. You could see the ACL tear.
I mean,
yeah.
I thought it was an Achilles. Was it an ACL?
Achilles. I think it was Achilles. I said ACL.
It's like that didn't look on ACL. It's like it looked like you saw the Ibrahim kid from Minnesota when his popped. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, they showed the replay. You saw just bubble up to the back.
Yeah, I felt bad for him so bad because I sent that to a buddy of mine. I'm like, bro, this is not safe for work because you can visibly see it. This is painful.
And like that was an All-American caliber running back for Minnesota. Like,
I was gonna say you mentioned games too. It just came to me. Notre Dame looked like crap too.
God.
Yeah,
2-0, and they should have lost to a bad Florida State team. They should have lost to Toledo. They're due for a reckoning. Someone is going to destroy Notre Dame at some point. It might be Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is going to just destroy them. And what's going to suck is that I'm going to look at Notre Dame's schedule real quick. If they get to Cincinnati undefeated, Cincinnati is going to get credit for basically beating. Well, hang on. Notre Dame's got Purdue, Wisconsin, and then Cincinnati. Oh, and then Virginia. Lord, Notre Dame's schedule got really tough all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I think Purdue's got a shot here. Like FSU failed, Toledo failed. I think Purdue's got a chance. I think Purdue's got a shot.
The spoil makers have a chance.
Yeah, I think they do. I think Jeff Brom can walk in there and get a W the way Notre Dame's been playing football. If not, Wisconsin will just destroy them the next week.
You think Purdue can walk into Notre Dame and do it?
Yes. If not, it'll be Wisconsin. And if it's not, it'll be Cincinnati. They're the next 3 or 4 games they got, they're done. Like Notre Dame looks like a 3-4 loss football team minimum. Like they got they should be a 6-win team, but they got away the skin of their teeth with Florida State, Toledo. Notre Dame's
I'm so disappointed that they actually beat Florida State because, as you said, I'm definitely quoting you. They won, but America lost because everybody wanted Florida State to win.
Yeah, I wanted Florida State to win because Bobby Bowden, and then Florida State the next week just.
Well, it was honoring Bobby Bowden that night, and
like last week,
it went left.
Like last Sunday, it was like, oh, they lost. It was kind of a sad, type of thing. This week, it was like, we lost to Jacksonville State. People and Florida State fans are just
what happened with Jacksonville State? Because I did not watch that one.
Oh, you didn't watch that play? They were up they were up less than a touchdown, and then. It was like 17-14 Florida State. Jacksonville State had threw the ball. It hit a 59-yard bomb to one of the receivers, 15 yards out. He caught it, and then he just kind of slanted inward to the end zone. He got a block, and he just walked in.
Dang.
It was like a walk-off, less than 10 seconds touchdown.
Ooh.
It was a
walk-off.
Florida State? Yep.
Oh, sad doke.
He just dropped it in a bucket into his hands, and he just. It was just it's every home team's worst nightmare. Something like that happens.
Oh,
you're about to win a game.
I got the game pulled up here if you want.
It's like when Notre Dame beat Virginia that one year on a Hail Mary.
I don't remember that one.
You don't remember the guy like leaning over the wall and just like hanging down, like all just like distraught.
Virginia and Notre Dame, in 2014.
I don't remember that one. I know the meme with it, but no, I don't remember.
Like that one to me is like as memorable as like Surrender Cobra, Michigan fan.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Hey, I got the game. I got that play pulled up. If you want to take a look at it, Josh.
Yeah, we'll take a quick look really fast with it. As long as it doesn't slow my stream down. Or you're able to play it. There you go. Woo, that is choppy.
It is choppy. Dang it.
Woo, that is choppy, my dude.
No, well, that's not the final.
Yeah, that's not the final play.
Keep going.
I think it was like, where was it? Like, I think it was like right about here.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yep, here we go. Sit far. 3. Drops it right in there. Makes 2 guys miss. Gets a block and just walks in.
Ooh. In Florida State's own house. Ooh. Ooh.
Man.
Well, look at that. You see the cheerleaders, like they're just walking down. They're like, they had like the louder, like go back like a few seconds. Like go back, like right there, like right there. Look at them. They're like so shocked. Look at them. They're like, oh.
Wait,
they can't believe it.
Gavin, speed it up a little bit. Just speed it up like about 5 seconds. I think I saw something at the bottom. Speed it up. After the touchdown with it. I think the bottom line messed up.
It doesn't matter, but like they're just so like
it did. It's saying 0-2 and 1-1. That is incorrect.
Right there.
Because they had it preset. They had it preset basically.
I've made that mistake before. I can't lie. When I was at Sooner Vision, I've done stuff like that before.
Oh, whenever it happens when you see, it happens when you see a pick six and someone has the ball and then a score happens. They have their finger on the button for the other team. It's like, oops, and then they fix it. And but yeah, Florida State.
I've had it happen.
Awful.
I've absolutely had it happen before. Hey, at least I wasn't as bad as the one when we had it where it was like a pay-per-view game. It's like your stadium for the OU commercial, except it was YOU apostrophe RE. I was like, ooh, no, do not make David Bourne sad, guys. So, but that play was a spicy play. I like that. Mm-hmm. That was a good play. But yeah, Notre Dame looked really bad. Texas Tech looked really bad too. Speaking of some Big 12 teams, they looked bad.
I don't pay for ESPN Plus at the moment, so
it was like that's what I was saying. It was like, and then of course, don't forget TCU going up against Cal. That was.
I mean, they came back and won, so for what it's worth. See, the coaches poll still ranks Oklahoma State. The AP does not.
Speaking of that, woo! Oklahoma State's gonna get a butt whooping this.
They had to go through 2 squeakers, one by your little tiniest brother down at 412. Which down 244. It's like, what are we doing?
I mean, Spencer Sanders just sucks. He just does.
Oh, he absolutely does.
But I'm gonna just say, and I'm just saying this. This was Spencer Sanders' first week back. And I'm not. I mean, that's me, and I know that. I don't.
Yeah, but he has. Is it a year or 2 under his belt at this point? Like,
yeah. So it's like, and then of course, I will just say this. Tulsa should have gotten away with that game, but they just had some bad, breaks.
So you mean it was like exactly like last year's game? Is what you're telling me?
Pretty much.
I mean, that is Oklahoma
State. Tulsa should have won
rival.
last year too. I remember watching that game, going, "Oh my God, Tulsa about to win this game," and they just couldn't. For whatever reason, pull it out.
Now I'm going to tell you, it would have been a huge block party, or something like that, especially on this side of the state.
I mean, it's Oklahoma State's best rival. I'm just saying.
But then again, why can't Tulsa be in the Big 12? That's what I want to know.
I mean, why can't SMU? Why can't Memphis? They got their teams, so. Everyone's still trying to figure out like the behind the scenes, like when exactly OU and Texas are leaving, because I'll tell you, I'll promise you one thing, they ain't going to be around in 23. And so they are like, there is no way Texas is going to like go on the road at Cincinnati anytime soon. It is not happening. So,
I was actually going to ask y'all that. You bring up a good segue for that. Gavin, I did look it up. Spencer Sanders is a junior. He has no excuse. Like, bro, he's just bad. Like, there is no excuse at this point with it. Yeah, I attribute some of that, sure, to O-line stuff. Sure, I attribute some of that. Bro, you gotta make your stuff. Like, if not, get benched at that point. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I have been one of those players, mostly for Tom Ward and mostly for Bradley Hiles, where I was like very vocal of, you need to bench these guys.
Tom Ward. Well,
you haven't heard that name before.
Bookie was in prime time last night against Michigan, lost. I think he made a play though. Good for him.
Yeah. Good for him. Well,
man, you know your team is bad when you lose to Michigan in a primetime game. You know it's bad because Michigan's garbage too.
Well, how did I know y'all mentioned too with BYU and Utah? How did TJ Pledger do?
Oh yeah, TJ Pledger played, didn't or did he? Like I remember watching the game, but I didn't pay attention to TJ Pledger at all. Let me.
Oh, that's saying something.
I forgot he existed. Let me see. Did he play? He got one carry.
Oh, poor guy.
He got one carry for 3 yards. So it's like I watched most of that second half. So it's like but yeah, he had one carry. Like Micah Bernard was the star for Utah. So yeah, but Pledger had one carry basically.
Yeah, only 3 yards, and that was it.
Like Charlie Brewer for Utah. There's a name to remember. He had more carries than TJ Pledger. So.
Oh, that's a bummer because everyone, even a buddy of mine, he was expecting Pledger to be probably the starter at that point, or at least be second string. That's a bummer for him. Well, but y'all mentioned like the Big 12 stuff as well with it. Obviously, with BYU saying that they want in by 2023, I agree with you, Sean and Gavin, that we're out of here by 2023. We probably have one more year, and next year's the farewell tour with that. What is y'all's thoughts on it overall with it though? Is it good? Is it bad? I'm like, I released something earlier today where I'm like, I'm more curious of who's going to be the top dog in the conference, and I think it's going to be BYU.
I just want to like, kind of like a good-natured like laugh at you because you were just like, this isn't happening, and I'm like, oh, Josh, it's happening. I didn't have. Oh
yeah,
you're like, this isn't happening, and I'm like, too many people are saying it is that have credibility. The people who I think have credibility are saying this. I was like, no, this is happening. Like, because you were arguing with like Red. You were arguing with Red Dirt Sport. I was like, oh no, don't argue with him on this. Don't do that.
Bless your heart, Josh. Yeah. I thought there was going to be a last minute Kansas and last minute West Virginia deal, and it was going to dissolve. That was my mentality.
I put up my video on Friday morning early or whatever, and like someone was like, it's not official yet. Like there's like press conferences for all 4 schools today, like scattered about. You think they're having a press conference to decide what they're going to do at the bake sale this weekend? It's not official yet. Like, yeah, all 4 of these schools like immediately put out hype videos the second they said "I" in the Board of Regents meetings. Those hype videos have been ready since 2015.
No. Hold on, Cincinnati's has been ready since 2014 because they've had the banner since then.
They've had those hype videos. Like we've just put it out. It's the same thing. It's like just like don't worry about it. Like.
Isn't that player like 6 years old? No, just
don't worry about it.
Just do it. If you know, you know.
They've had those hype videos in the vault ready to go.
Although, I was gonna say if I was having Cincinnati in that discussion, I would have been interested in seeing like a decent rivalry with like Cincinnati and West Virginia.
I mean, they'll probably do that at this point.
No. I'm just saying, like, if they were in earlier, with the Dana Holgerson years and all that and everything too, it would have been very interesting for me. That's what I was just getting at. So
it's like people are asking, like, I made a video your video aged poorly because I said don't turn into the Southwest Conference. This aged poorly. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like in the video, my whole video was about you can get a new home, but it's like instead of getting a new home and staying a Power 5 school, you're becoming like the number 1 G5 conference. That's still not good at the end of the day. You're basically you're patching up holes in like a dilapidated home at this point. it's turning into a haunted house. So this guy's like, this age poorly. He's like, what are you talking about? I hate people. They're morons. They're all morons. Everyone on the internet is a moron. I hate them all.
Awesome. I'm a moron. Sweet.
Except for the people who come to my channel and like my videos and give me super chats. I love those people.
I'm not a moron. Sweet.
Yeah.
But no, Sean, I said the exact same thing because I said, who's going to be the top dog? There's going to be a power struggle. Oklahoma State, to me, is the biggest loser in this entire situation with it. I mean, because they don't gain anything from it, even though they're one of the tenured members. BYU, to me, BYU, Houston, and UCF are going to be the ones making the decisions now in the conference.
BYU is like the trophy wife who's had like 5 or 6 marriages already.
So Texas.
No. BYU has been in multiple conferences, and they have multiple ex-husbands with good alimony checks and everything. So that's what BYU does. So, I mean, it's just UCF is like the move makes sense for all these schools, despite OU and Texas not being there, because believe it or not, the Big 12 brand will still net them more money than the American. So this collection of schools, it's still going to be a pay cut for a lot of the guys, the quote unquote irate 8. It's still going to be a big pay cut, but it's going to be a pay increase for UCF and Cincinnati and Houston and BYU. So it'll be a fun league if they can keep things together. It'll be fun to watch. It'll be some good Thursday night football games, and it's going to be the American is done as like the quote unquote number 1 G5. It's now the Big 12. So you could either be the number 1 G5 or the 3rd or 4th best Power 5. I think they would still take that any day of the week. But the next step, like, it's not going to matter for money. It's going to suck, but for competition on the field, like, you become big fans. You want to get this 12-team playoff back on the slate because they're putting it on the back burner for now. I think it'll still happen, but it's like, I find it hilarious that all these other conferences are just like, oh, we got to stop and figure it out. It's like 3 or 4 months ago, if it was put on the back burner, like, I'm pissed as an OU fan, but it's not 3 or 4 months ago. It's September and we're joining the SEC. And I'm like, all right, keep it at 4. I don't care. If we can't go through the SEC and be at least the 2nd best team, we have no argument. So, like, we're in the conference that everyone cares about first and foremost for this playoff, whether it's 4 teams or 12. If we run through it and win it with 1 loss, we're in, baby. Woo! Or if we're like undefeated and we barely lose the SEC title game or whatever, we're in, baby. Woo! So doesn't matter at this point. It's like, it's like the grass is greener on the other side, apparently. But we haven't gotten to that point yet. But believe me, the 12-team thing will happen at some point because it's funny. We talked about the Pac-12 keeps being left out, but now it's like the Pac-12 might have a big game in a few weeks between Oregon and UCLA. That's on the regular season slate that a lot of people are going to watch. That ain't going to be no Pac-12 after dark game. I promise you that.
Prime time.
It'll be like 3:30 for them. Like, when is that game? Oh, it figures.
Pac-12 after dark.
No.
Fox.
No. It's a home game at the Rose Bowl. It's on October 23rd. And on October 23rd, I will be going to AEW Dynamite.
AEW.
So, because I looked at the schedule, I was like, oh, you play Kansas, and there's no other big games that week. Now Oregon and UCLA could potentially be one of the biggest games of the year.
Oh,
so I am
played with the monkey paw. I'm just saying that's what happened.
Yeah, you know what? It happened, but I'm hoping that OU Kansas is 11 a.m. Pretty effing please be 11 a.m. I really need it 11 a.m.
When you mention 11 a.m., I do have to give a shout out to Josie with his throwing shade at the Big 12 yesterday. That was funny. Well, why aren't the lights working?
Well, his manhood is like the size of like a skyscraper at this point, so he can just whip it around and do whatever he wants at this point because he and Joe H just got OU into the SEC, so like it's just like they can helicopter all night if they want to because they pulled off the caper, they pulled the Ocean's 11, they did it, the house doesn't always win, so props to both of them, so. Helicopter all night long, if you get what I'm saying. I would helicopter too.
I mean, he's been bold more lately than usual, and I like it.
Cha-ching! Best AD, biatch!
And that's why
we built that new softball stadium now.
Good night, everybody.
All right.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, like I like more spiteful Godfather Josie. It's fun.
Yeah, because what are they going to do? Like, fine him or kick him out? Like, oh, no, I won't be on Fox anymore at 11 a.m. Jeepers, whatever will we do?
I was really hoping that they'd have, like, when they did the vote for him, I really was hoping that OU and Texas would vote no, just to be spiteful back. I was really hoping.
Vote for what?
On BYU, Cincinnati, and stuff.
Oh,
like,
but no, they have no vote in this. It would be inappropriate for them. It would be inappropriate for them to vote.
Yeah, but they're still members. They should do it out of spite anyway.
Yeah, but it wouldn't matter. Like it's
with an SEC little green screen behind them, the stuff behind them.
No, it would be horribly inappropriate for them to vote for something they're not going to be a part of. So,
I mean, they were already part of those phone calls before. It was like, we have a conference meeting today with discussing conference alignment, and everybody was on the phone call.
Let's see here. Scrolling down.
But yeah, so just absolutely.
Yeah.
Sean or Gavin, who do you think is going to be the top dog then with the Big 12 once everything plays out the way it does at this point?
Oh man.
Top dog. Oh.
Yeah, I'm serious. Who's going to fill that power vacuum? Who's going to be that person that's going to be that's not Wolsey?
Well,
I think mom and dad.
I think if anything, I don't think it's going to be top dog. I'm going to go top cat, actually. I'm going to go with, I'm thinking it might be Cincinnati if they keep going on.
Isn't that a Hanna-Barbera cartoon? Top cat.
Pink Panther.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it might be Cincy, if they keep up with what they're doing.
Mom and dad's like, are you sure you don't need a babysitter? It's like, okay, we'll trust you all. And then the house is burned down by the time they get back.
Yeah. But
Bolsby coming in with the pizza.
I have a serious question. If that game in BYU Utah was late last night, it ended like about a quarter till 2 a.m. Eastern, I think, or 3, or it was something crazy. No, it was like 2 Eastern. So 2 a.m. So if that game had gone past midnight Mountain West, would they had to have forfeit? If it went into Sunday, would they have to forfeit the game?
I don't think that.
Maybe
because it technically would have been Sunday. They would have to forfeit. Like they would have to stop playing, right? If that game.
No, they just would have. They just would have done what OU did against Western Carolina. Just reduce the next quarter down to like a minute or whatever.
But
play 1 minute third quarter.
But no, that game was too close. That's both coaches have to agree to that. It's not something that you just like decide on your own, like a spring game. Like both coaches have to agree to it. So I didn't
even know that was a rule, by the way.
Oh yeah, are you kidding? Of course it is. Like for body bag pay-per-view games like that, like we've done that for years for our body bag pay-per-view games. So yeah, that's nothing new. Our greatest pay-per-view game our greatest pay-per-view game of all time was like the Army game. It came down.
Oh God, don't start with Army. That was a game I went to, and that was a PTSD game. Oh, that game made me angry. I wanted to run the field at that point and be like, do you know how to tackle guys? Because I can show you how. And I'm not good at it.
Yeah, I feel like if anything, and, give them credit, the Army basically beat OU with that offense of theirs by possessing, 4/5 of the game with possession?
I mean, I can't blame them. OU couldn't stop them. Sit on the ball.
Yeah. That was pretty much what it was. Although I also was going to say, and this is something though too, I have been looking at like for some of these games that are going on next week. We did mention about Alabama and Florida that was going on. I think another interesting game that I am going to keep an eye on.
Can I guess? Can I guess?
What do you think?
Too late at Ole Miss.
That one might be interesting, but
that is the game I'm watching in prime time. There is no other game I'm watching.
You just want to see Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
No, I want to see. Listen, if that game is just close, it's a victory for OU.
Okay.
Yeah, because Tulane. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's just close at the end, that's all I asked for. A win would be amazing. But go ahead. What was your game?
Well, the game I would be very interested in is actually between where was it? Auburn and Penn State. I wanted to kind of see how that one's going to turn out.
I'm going to be honest. I understand the context behind it because ESPN is just all over that whiteout, but Penn State's going to win that game.
I think I made Sean upset to where he had to turn his face cam off.
No. I forgot to mute. My apologies. I had to adjust something on my headset or whatever.
Okay, I was gonna say the timing on that just couldn't have been.
No. I wasn't like pretending to be upset or anything. No, I was like, I had to literally I had to fix something. So I should have muted my mic. That's what I meant to do.
Okay.
That was the button I meant to push. I pushed the other one instead. But no, Auburn, Penn State, it's like those are two helmets I recognize and people will watch it. I mean,
it'd be a top 25 matchups.
Honestly, like that is a game that I could I couldn't care less about. I really couldn't. I know it'll affect things, sure. I think if you're Ohio State, you're rooting for Penn State to win that game because you need like a big marquee win to get you back in the conversation. Because everyone with a loss, especially because everyone loves to, like, my favorite thing in the world is when I hear about quality losses in November. I love me some quality loss talk.
Yeah,
like Ohio State has right now, a quality loss.
Yeah. So like Clemson and Ohio State are in the quality loss club, and the problem is their quality losses are the teams that could probably make the playoff and will take their spots if it comes down to it. They're like, guess what? Mm-hmm. You ain't Oregon and Ohio State aren't both getting in unless things get really insane.
I think this might be the year to where, and I'm going to be going crazy, that maybe the Big Ten might not have somebody in that board.
I can't go there yet.
Yeah, I'm just saying because even if Penn State loses to Ohio State, and Oregon goes on the run that they're going on, I just don't see it.
There are two conferences that will not be left out of this thing: the SEC and the Big Ten.
The moment that the Big Ten's left out,
if the Big Ten is left out of this thing, ooh, I mean, it's happened before. Granted, I'm not saying it can't happen.
12-team playoff.
Well, I mean, the playoff one year was, Clemson, Alabama, OU, Georgia, and a lot of people thought a lot of people thought that our year against Georgia, a lot of people thought Ohio State was getting in.
No,
over Alabama. So there were people who legitimately thought that, and that was the year Kirk Herbstreit got up off the desk and left.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
it was like, Kirk, why are you shocked?
I mean, I'll just say this: it was like, if I remember, wasn't Bama's loss to Auburn, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, and then Auburn lost in the SEC championship game to Georgia.
I would have been very interested to see if Auburn won that conference championship game, where everybody was put in after that.
Well, Georgia would have been knocked out. Auburn, we would have played Auburn probably.
Yeah.
But that's the thing though, because Ohio's that's a scenario where it's like Ohio State could win the Big Ten, but if Oregon is there with one loss. And it comes down to a bunch of other teams too. They're going to give the nod to Oregon over Ohio State. They are that is the exact scenario that happened in 2017, where it's like, Ohio State will get it. They won out, and they only have one loss to Oklahoma, who's in. So it's like, Alabama got in.
Because Oklahoma got in for them.
Yeah, Oklahoma took their spot.
If I'm not mistaken, like Alabama also had like how many opponents that were in the top 20 that year in 2017?
It was I don't think Alabama had like a big marquee win that year. I mean, granted, they won the national title, so it's irrelevant, like for Bama fans. But
I was thinking they had like some top 20 wins or something, if I'm not mistaken.
No, the best win they had was against I'm looking at the schedule. Well, depending on how you look at it, they beat number 3 Florida State at that Chick-fil-A.
Florida State was not a top 5. Like I remember hearing that crap. Yeah, Florida State was like that was the year Florida State was done. They were not Florida State of previous years. So that's the win they touted. We beat they were number 3 at the time. Listen, you beat a team that's preseason ranked top 5, but they don't finish top 5. Is it really that impressive? And how did Florida State fare the rest of that year? Let's take a look-see. Go to 2017. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses. They were a 6-6 football team. Yeah, number 3, my ass. I know Francois got like hurt in that game, but even so, Francois wasn't that good anyway. So
because they
won the national title anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, they had like number 18 LSU and number 19 Mississippi State.
And Mississippi State was the one that gave them a closer game than even LSU did.
Yeah, so that was quite something. So.
We could have beaten them. I will continue to tout that for
Auburn. Auburn murdered, death killed Georgia in the regular season game, and then they got the rematch, and they just totally Auburn lost their starting running back to injury, so that changed everything. Running backs are important.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I was thinking somehow in that 2017 game, didn't they had a key injury for Alabama in that 2017 game, or was that a different game? No, that was 2019. I was thinking when.
Yeah, because are you thinking of Tua and then Jalen coming in?
No, that was 2018. Yeah,
Jalen won the Heisman Trophy for Kyler Murray. Basically.
No. It wasn't 2018. I was thinking it was 2019, where I think they had one of their quarterbacks that got injured or something, and they basically had to put in a backup in the Auburn game for some weird reason. I was somehow thinking there was that one of those games, and they basically had a pick six that was from their own goal line, and everything, and sort of sealed the game for Auburn. Can't remember which game that was. What was it?
Are you thinking about? You're thinking 2019, the Iron Bowl?
I think it was that one. Yes. So
that was Mac Jones quarterbacking that game. He had the butt interception. Threw it on the guy's ass, and it bounced off, and it was 100-yard pick six.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. So
that was a fun football game.
Yeah, that
Jalen Waddle was a beast in that game, even though Alabama lost. Jalen Waddle was an amazing player in that game. He was my favorite football player that year, not at OU. I love Jalen Waddle.
So I'm just double checking. Where's the Iron Bowl at again this year?
It's at Auburn.
Yep. So that's going to be very interesting to see. I know Auburn might not be all there and everything, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying right now. If you're playing at Auburn, and I'm just saying this, it's almost like a kryptonite, but for Alabama playing in Auburn at times. I mean, I'm just looking at it because it's how many times have they lost, the last couple of years? You're looking at 2013 and then 2017 and then 2019. It's almost like a pattern that, you're just seeing, that Alabama's been struggling whenever they play at Auburn.
I mean, it's a rivalry game, so who knows? But they played against two garbage teams, and they'll get the ultimate test going up to Happy Valley. And if they win that game, then it's okay, Brian Harsin and that staff is okay, year one, because he's gotten a lot of Brian Harsin has gotten so much he's been ripped apart, first year head coach for Auburn there, his first year at Auburn there, and ripping him for his past everything. So he's kind of similar to Sark in a sense, but from from people who actually pay attention. But they win that game, then they get a garbage Georgia State game, and then they're at LSU, and then the Auburn Georgia game is early this year.
How early? October.
It's on the 9th of October. Really?
Wow.
That's usually that's a November game usually.
Yeah, that's usually November. I mean,
I just noticed that. That's odd.
Yeah,
that is always a mid-November game. It is
usually they always play it like the game before Alabama.
Well, it's like the game. It's like the game before the cupcake week or whatever. Or a bye week or something. And Auburn always has a bye week before usually, but they're playing at South Carolina this year before Alabama. That's another to be determined. Like South Carolina's 2-0, but they're a sketchy 2-0. But Auburn they dropped 60. They dropped 60 points back-to-back weeks against Akron and Alabama State, and so it'll be interesting to see what they look like. I mean, I haven't really watched them play, but you look at box score. It's like OU this past Saturday. It's like, all right, they did what they were supposed to do. That's what a box score should look like against this level of competition. Good, that's what I want to see. I think they could beat Penn State. Honestly, Penn State most of the Big Ten is not that impressive. Like, if I'm going to pick a Big Ten team to kind of sort of surprise people a little bit, I like Michigan State a lot. I think Mel Tucker year 2, he got a couple of wins. Where's Michigan State? Let me find them here. They got that win against Northwestern. Not only did they beat Northwestern, they beat them down. I think people were shocked. That was like a Friday night game.
Yeah,
they convincingly beat them. Then they beat Youngstown State like they should. They're on the road at Miami this week. Now we'll be watching OU Nebraska, but they're that's on at noon on ABC. I think Michigan wins that game, and they win it. Just win it. They don't have to win super convincingly, but I think Michigan State wins that game. And then you look at the rest of their schedule: Nebraska at home, they can win that one. Western Kentucky. At Rutgers is a little tricky because Rutgers is better than people think they are because Shiano's really built that program up nicely. They're getting some decent recruits up in Jersey. Like Rutgers, you look at the recruiting rankings, whoa, that's way better than I expect for Rutgers. Shiano's building that thing back up. At Indiana the next week, it's okay, Indiana's kind of...
Indiana plays. They're not going to be pushover team.
Yeah. Then they host Michigan, and I'm always going to side with Michigan State against Michigan over the years, especially last year, because last year was pathetic by Michigan. At Purdue, I think they can win. Hosting Maryland. Maryland, I think, is going to be a sneaky good team in the Big Ten this year. And then their two biggest games at the end of the year, at Ohio State, hosting Penn State. I don't think Michigan State's not going to win the Big Ten East, but I think Michigan State could be like an 8-9 win football team if things fall the right way.
Do you think they're going to get a good bowl game then? Do you think they're a New Year's Six bowl team?
Not with 8 or 9 wins.
No, okay.
Yeah.
So they would have to beat Ohio State or Penn State and have double digits.
Yeah. I'm gonna just say this. I'm just gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this for the record. I'm just not impressed with Miami right now. In fact, I'm just saying this. I just think Michigan State is gonna win this game, even though people are, gonna say, "Oh, Miami's gonna have this bounce back game." I'm sorry, but when you put up you only win by 2 against Appalachian State.
Gavin, it's okay. You don't have to state that on the record because that's what everybody's thinking.
That's not the hot take you think it is.
Yeah, no, I know, but my take is everybody was so hype up about Miami and everything, and it's I'm sorry, but honestly, you want to go ahead and just show off your jewelry and all that. That's fine, but honestly, everybody wants to care about that W. That's all they care about.
Some poor Miami fan in the airport after the Alabama game, TSA took his turnover chain away. He got compensated. Someone lost. He had his custom turnover chain. TSA took my turnover chain, bro.
They should just go ahead and they should just flip that U upside down to an N and put an O on it, saying no. You're
such a bully, Gavin. Such a bully. Listen to you.
Hey,
Pick it on those poor Miami fans. who've been nothing but like good cultured human beings, who've been nothing but like upstanding citizens for
throughout their entire history.
Throughout the past 30, 40 years.
It's not like there's video footage or something of them where they're the ones that got new rules passed or something. Who knows on that?
Miami spends a lot of time in Orlando Bowl games. They always come up here to Orlando and play like in the Cheez-It Bowl or something.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Cracks
me up.
We have updated lines for this week.
Bama's
cool. Let's see.
Bama's ask you what's Bama's.
Bama's a 15-point favorite. It's a little
cool.
It's a little low.
Okay.
It's a little low. If you ask
OU,
me.
I'm assuming is a 32-point. I'm going 32. Damn it.
Flip the numbers. 23.
Oh, hey, I got the numbers right. Oh gosh, it's like Price was right.
Penn State's a
flip or flop. Yeah.
Penn State's a 7-point favorite at home to Auburn. Cincinnati's a 4.
Really for that one? I expected that a little.
I don't think Penn State's that good.
But they're favored though.
I know they're favored, but I just don't think
by a touchdown though. I'm surprised.
Penn State. I mean, Penn State needs to get a kicker. Cincinnati is a 4-point favorite against Indiana at Indiana. Ooh, this game's kind of sneaky interesting. West Virginia 3-point favorite at home versus Virginia Tech.
What's the Tulane Ole Miss?
It's not showing that one. I'll look at that in a second. Boise is a 4-point favorite against the Pokes.
Not surprised there.
Miami is an 8-point favorite versus Michigan State. I just
don't think Miami's going to win. I think it's going to be that's going to be Michigan State.
I think Sparty wins that.
I do too.
Arizona State 2-point favorite at BYU. Notre Dame 8-point favorite against Purdue. All right, let's look.
There's going to be some people shocked this week. There seems like if they're betting people, it's going to be easy money.
All right, Ole Miss is a 15-point favorite hosting Tulane. The over/under is 77.5. Ooh, that is a big over/under. That is a big over/under. 77.5.
I think if anything, that to me is an under. I just don't see it being a 77.
I think Tulane could slow the game down a little bit. Listen, I watched that Louisville game. Louisville sucks, but if they were Tulane that night, I think they keep pace with them and make it interesting. I really think Tulane can keep it interesting. That's all I ask for.
Yeah.
I think it's 77 though.
Yeah,
that's the over/under.
High. That's way too high.
I mean, like Ole Miss.
I would understand if you would have it like 40 or 50, but not 70.
Oh, that's combined though for both teams.
For both. I thought you were talking. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about.
You kids not knowing how gambling works, get off of my stream.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about them as a favorite by 77. I was like, wait, what?
No, they're a 15. No, Ole Miss is a 15 point favorite. The over/under is like
total
both
score,
teams combining score. Like so, over/unders are popular.
I'm curious now. Over/under if OU's a 23 is over/under at least 80.
Let me look for it real quick. Where is it? Scanning my Nebraska. Is it on here? Oh, it's got to be on here somewhere. Let me skim down.
I thought I saw it was like a 23-point favorite on.
Oh, here it is. Oh, the over/under is 64.5.
Oh, I take the over on that one.
Yeah, I think it would be over that.
Like OU 52 and Nebraska
56.
14 or something.
I'm thinking 56-14. Yep.
Yeah.
So you're saying Gabe
50 points.
So 56-14. So what you're telling me is Gabe is not going to hit a 50-yarder.
He's going to hit a 90-yarder. No, yeah.
No, this is an Ice Shield 21.
Yeah. Hey, let's just see if we can find that NCAA pennant code on that kicking deal and see if we can get a 80 or 90-yard kick out of that.
I need to edit Gabe Eichard, not Gabe Eichard, Gabe Perkins in NCAA football.
Oh man, I have not heard about Gabe Eichard in such a long time. But,
I mean, the Oklahoma.
I know he's on the network and everything. Yeah, but I also know
he has a new kid.
Oh yeah, I mean, I gotta say that's probably been the best news for Gabe this year. Is having a new kid. So say congrats by the way to him on all of that.
Yeah, Gabe's a cool guy.
Yeah,
He's fun to talk to.
Yeah, former
Our
Bishop
center.
McGinnis. Yeah,
There's he gets a little hate from certain people because he gets like rich kid hate.
well,
He gets a little
rich.
rich.
Well,
like-
okay, I'm good. I think I might understand where you're getting at, Sean. And
I don't have a problem with him. I've heard other people like he gets like rich kid hate.
Okay, I was just gonna say, you've heard of Bishop McGinnis?
Yeah.
Josh, have you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and I've heard this too. It's
Like Joe went to Bishop McGinnis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's just part of it is sort of that private school, rich, kind of in that sort of deal. I just never really bought into.
I guess, but I mean, I know of Bishop McGinnis, but I would say Booker T and Union get way more hate. I hear more about them. And no, I take that back. Carl Albert's the one that gets the most hate.
Oh, don't get me started with that school.
Yeah. Oh, Luther Bird.
School is giving me fits.
He just posted top 3 next week.
I mean,
is he
honestly,
our 5-star recruit, right?
I mean, look,
he was our 5-star recruit. He was ours.
That's not fun.
I mean, look, here's the thing. Booker T is a little bit different because there's a lot of different backgrounds that go on in Booker T. I will say that, but I just say this, like Carl Albert, you got like 3 schools, like I'm not kidding you, like that are in like Midwest City. You got Midwest, you got Dell, and then you got Carl Albert, and then like all the athletes and everything and all, all of that being in there. And right now, Carl Albert just got a brand new coach, and they're actually, for the first time as long as I can remember, they're actually 0-2 to start the season.
They're still going to be in the playoffs. It won't matter.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm just going to say, they actually got, and I'm not kidding you, like they got blown out by Dell City, like 55-20. And
they're Carl Albert. They're going to make it into playoffs.
Well,
sorry, like that's the reality of it.
I mean, I was even watching some of the game, and they just have not impressed me right now. To be honest, I really haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, they haven't been 0-2 in God knows how many years. It's just been surprising me to see that. I mean, I've seen that for a long time. I mean, look, I can expect it maybe 1 win, but never imagine losing to both of those areas of anything. I mean, just that to me sort of has really surprised me.
As my dad says, any given day. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, by the way, back to the OU Nebraska game, I did decide, by the way, I have till Wednesday if I'm going to change my mind at this point, but it does look like I will be going to the OU Nebraska game.
Oh, you lucky dog.
Well, it's dad's season tickets, and
is it not going to be 95 degrees? Of course it is.
Oh, of course it is. As per OU tradition of this,
it's going to be miserable in the heat, more than likely. And
I've been trying to find some tickets and everything, and
good luck. I will tell you right now, Gavin. I will tell you right now, dude. The face value is the highest, as far as I am aware. Okay, it is the highest face value ticket OU has had in the past almost 20 years.
Yeah,
it's $255.
Yeah,
face value.
I was hearing like close to $300-$400. If anything, like right there.
You might find some Nebraska fans who are gonna no, we don't want to go watch this murder.
Yeah, but a lot of the part of it too, and a lot of it is a lot of this. A lot of it's just mostly the pomp and circumstance. It's not really the game; they're just doing the pomp and circumstance because it's the 50th anniversary of the game of the century, which they're pretty much bringing in all the players from both Nebraska and Oklahoma back to Owen Field, and kind of have like this huge reunion.
Which there isn't one player on either roster of Oklahoma and Nebraska right now that remembers that rivalry being of any note. Like everyone, like the last game that was like top 5. I don't think maybe Caleb Kelly was alive technically, but
Let's
it's like
see.
they didn't grow up with that rivalry, and it's like
you would have to go all the way back to probably the maybe 2000. Like you were saying.
2001 was like 2 and 3, I think.
2001 was 2 and 3. Yeah.
Which is that's what I said.
Which
Yeah.
it was. No, I was just confirming that with you. And of course, they actually, and I remember that play. It was that reverse pass to air, where that one of the running backs threw it to Couch.
Oh yeah, the guy who threw it to him was like a horrible piece of garbage, apparently. So, for what it's worth, it turned out to be a horrible human. So,
that sucks.
Yeah.
Oops.
So, I mean, the guy who caught it was just kind of a. He's just kind of a.
Yeah.
A little bit of a jerk at the Heisman.
And then basically get blown out by Miami in the national championship game.
Because they shouldn't have been there because they got their asses handed to them by Colorado. That was BCS controversy number 3. BCS controversy number 1 was 98. Number 2 was straightforward. I mean, for the most part, 2000 Miami. We should be there. It's like, well, you're not. And then Miami was there, but Nebraska shouldn't be there. But like Oregon should or Florida should.
If I will say this, if the only reason why they didn't get there was because of Washington. I'm sorry, but you lost.
Oh, we all know that. Yeah, they lost to Washington for it, and they dropped it.
Yeah,
but that doesn't count.
Yeah,
they're the U.
Yeah, but I'm just
because everybody gets one, right? It's a quality loss.
I always tell all the Miami people get mad. You would have beat us if we were there. It's like I was like, well. We played at the toughest conference in college football that year, and we won all of our football games. Like, you not being there is a you problem. We did what we supposed to do.
It's a you problem.
It's a you problem.
Yeah, go through. I'm going to say this. Go through that schedule in October against those 3 teams: Texas, Kansas State.
In all seriousness, we get our asses whipped. We play 2000 Miami. I'm not kidding either. I love that team in 2000. It's a magical year. Don't get me wrong. It took a Herculean effort on defense to win that football game. You put me in a lie detector, like truth-telling serum. We get our asses whooped by 2000.
That had maybe 20, 21 first-round draft picks or something like that.
Well, no, they lost it. That's the thing. They lost a lot of seniors leadership off that team. The 2001 team was a lot of guys behind. I mean, there was a ton of guys on that 2000 team that were gone after that year. That's how it was really super deep. It was super deep that. No, if we had a college football playoff back then, oh my God, Miami would clean up more years than not. But yeah, that 02 team that lost to Ohio State, the reason they lost because they lost to that 01 team. Oh God. People trying to crown 2019 LSU's the best ever. It's I think time has passed a little bit. We're all just kind of yeah, they're good. It's still, I think 01 or 95, 01 Miami or 95 Nebraska are the best teams ever.
I think 01 would probably be the best team, and then I would probably give, and I just say this, that USC team should be somewhere in that top 5 in my opinion. That
what
04.
USC? No, no, I can't put them there. They're good, but the problem with that team is that a lot of those great teams we mentioned had a couple, one close call. That 04 team had a couple close calls. It wasn't against us for whatever reason.
They had the Bush push, wasn't it? In 04?
No, that was the next year. You just Nebraska destroyed teams, destroyed. USC won a bunch of games. They dominated a lot of them, but there was a couple here and there they could have lost. Excuse me. UCLA was really competitive with them that year. Virginia Tech to open up the season, a kickoff classic game. That was pretty close. They lost to Cal the year before, and Aaron Rodgers quarterbacking Cal was first and goal from the 10-yard line. I remember that. He had 4 plays to beat USC. I was in with my dad driving his truck after the 2004 shutout, 12-0 shutout of Texas, and we're it is first and goal from the 10. Cal is down. They were down like a touchdown. They're less than a touchdown. So if they score TD, they win. So wasn't the first time. It wasn't the last time Aaron Rodgers would have trouble scoring deep in the red zone. Kind of somewhere today, but yeah, Aaron Rodgers had a shot back then to if Aaron Rodgers scores a touchdown that day, we do not play USC. We either play Cal or Auburn. Think about that. Think about that. What if? I don't know. See, Cal won out the rest of their games. Like Cal was pissed. This was like the older BCS days where if you
points
were like
mattered.
It wasn't just that. There was they had to make like the K-State rule one year, but like think about this. The number 4 team in the country in the BCS rankings was not guaranteed a BCS bowl slot.
Yeah, and Kansas State got screwed out of it.
No, but like it also happened to Cal. Cal was really high up there. Their only loss was a close loss to USC. And I remember this also because it was down between Cal and Texas because Texas had one loss to OU. And I remember specifically after Texas beat the Aggies, I remember Mac Brown on the field. They're talking to him. Mac, big win. He's like, and he just, and Mac Brown politicked like only Mac Brown could. It's a real shame that the number 4 team, like it's referring to Texas, it's a real shame that the number 4 team in the country possibly won't play in a BCS bowl game. And look what happened. Mac Brown got his ass to the Rose Bowl and played Michigan. And so it's like Cal was pissed. They didn't politic for it, but Mac Brown, I remember that so vividly. If I could find a copy of that 2004 Texas A&M game, it's just like Mac just on that field. It's like it's a real shame that.
Oh, that 2004 Texas A&M game, man. I remembered that game for one different reason.
2004?
Oh wait, which? Oh, sorry.
Are you thinking of 2005 maybe?
Yeah, I was.
Because 2005 they came close to losing that game. I think 2004 they handled them. I don't remember the score.
Telling me that the young Longhorns couldn't handle the Aggies? What?
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch that game again.
Yeah,
Like someone has to lose, and like message boards will be amazing. Either one.
This weekend they've been amazing too. I mean,
I'm sure I need to go check out the Aggies dropping 2 spots to 7 the AP just to see the tears for that because they won, but their savior at quarterback Haynes King, who I've been hearing all about how fast he is. Well, he ain't fast anymore because he in a boot and crutches.
they could try. But I mean, I don't know who's
out for a while.
Whose meltdown would probably be better, Iowa State's, A&M's, or Texas right now?
Well,
because I saw the Texas one where it was like
Texas is worse because they didn't just lose, they got hammered. But,
theirs is funny though because they've been saying like, oh, just remember we're going to the SEC not for the championship but for the money. It's like, dude.
Oh, you remind me of something. You see Emmanuel Acho's tweet from last night?
Yeah.
No.
That whiny. Oh, that he said the most Aggie thing for a Longhorn.
What did he say?
Oh, let me pull that bitch.
Was it what I was referring to?
No,
pretty much.
Only pull up that Acho tweet. It was utterly. I gotta scroll down because I've tweeted. Here it is. This is what Acho put out last night. To clarify any confusion, hashtag Texas is going to the SEC because of money, not to increase their chances of winning. Texas may lose on the field, but will always win the bank. Money bag, money bag, money bag emoji. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. That is utterly pathetic.
Yeah, that did not age well at all at the moment. Like
I should have made my video about that today, and I forgot that existed. I know what I'm talking about tomorrow, potentially. It's like if there's nothing to talk about OU, I'm gonna like Emmanuel Acho is a bitch, and here's why.
It's going to be a glorious 10 minutes.
I apologize for cursing and talking about other things that your family might be watching, but I'm in a good like, playful mood tonight. College football week 2 was fun. So
it was. Hey, well, I appreciate it. I mean, it was just making me think too when I was doing some recording. I give you a lot of credit where you can get like to the point in your videos, like within like 5 to 7 minutes. I'm like, oh, I'm going to keep this brief 15 minutes. Oh, I'm still having to learn that of like what content I need to cut.
Well, I mean,
what I need to reduce down.
I mean, I don't plot everything out. A lot of my stuff's off the top of my head, but I've been doing this for a while, so it's very easy for me to veer off into another direction, or I'm trying to, but like have a destination. Like the problem is if you'll have like the problem you can run into, you'll cite an example of something in your head and you'll spend like 10 minutes talking about the example and it takes way too long to like circle back to your point.
Yeah.
Like if we want to talk about like how Texas A&M is bad, we'll remember that one game and we'll spend 20 minutes talking about this game. And what were we talking about again? Like that's the thing you gotta worry about. At least that was my issue. But yeah, getting to the point for things. Yeah. Just have a destination. What are you going to say? Yeah. If you have to write it down like bullet points, like I do mention this, and this.
It's funny because my dad, pointed it out to him. I'm like, yeah, right now I usually have it recording. And then in the background, I'll have my notes. He's like, yeah, I can tell because you're doing this a whole lot.
Like the magic number for YouTube like videos is like 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like 10 minutes is kind of the magic number. I never try to go 10 minutes because people click off after like once you get past 5, people are going to start clicking off. But that magic number is 10. That's that sweet spot for YouTube. They want you to have that 10-minute video minimum where potential ad. You can have an ad break in the middle potentially. They really love that stuff. But
so what you're telling me is my 25-minute video of the Big 12 expansion. That's a little bit too long.
I mean, you can make a 25-minute video, but you put some production value into it.
Oh, like, I did. I talked a whole lot, and I just didn't realize that I talked that much.
Yeah.
I had a lot of points.
I did that a lot too. I would do like 12, 15-minute videos, and it's like it didn't need to be that long. But yeah, if you're gonna do something that long, having a static image of you talking is not the greatest thing in the world. Like so you want to have different things like showing up on your screen. But yeah, but the Aggies overall are just the meltdown is coming. When they lose a game this year, they're still gonna be smoking the hopium. No, they will smoke that hopium till they lose the second game, and they'll lose the second game because of referees or some made up crap.
Doesn't the hopium come with the copium as well?
It is like it would be great if Arkansas was a team that beat them this year. Oh, it'd be beautiful. Like it was Arkansas, like another old Southwest Conference team. Delicious.
Oh man.
Another scoop of the hot chicken noodle on a cold winter day. Give me some of that.
Man, and you bring up Arkansas. It made me think of I have a lot of buddies who are Arkansas fans, bless their heart. But man, they can be.
No, it was bless their heart. It was a great weekend. It was the greatest weekend in Arkansas history in like the last decade.
It was funny. My mom called and they were asking about the Arkansas game. It was like, well, Arkansas showing that Texas isn't gonna walk in and own the SEC. I'm like, Mom, there's a lot more stories to that one. Let me tell you, Arkansas has to deal with the dark side, and they hate Texas so much they channeled that energy all season into this game. Like. Do they really? Yes, they really hate Texas for whatever reason. Yeah. They hate us too for whatever reason. They hate OU. Well, I think it's because they hate us because they're not us.
Well, I think it's a crime that we have to share an interstate with them. That are I-40 like crosses into their podunk little state there, and it's like there's nothing there. Like I have driven I-40 across that state. There's like a Taco Bell somewhere, and thank God for that. But other than that, it's just like I can't wait.
Trees.
There's trees. There's like hills. It's like I remember one year I made the drive, and I was like waiting to get into Oklahoma, and like I was close to the border. It was like so foggy. It was like pea soup fog, and I'm like I felt like I was in a horror movie. Like I'm trying to escape Jason at a Crystal Lake or something. It's like I'm like I need to get that. Like, and it's like, and I'm in a lane where there's like those like concrete dividers too. So I'm like nervous as hell in pea soup fog that I'm gonna like crash into some sort of construction that's going on like God knows what time at night. And I'm just like, please let me get through this. Please let me get through this. I escaped Arkansas. I did it.
It's funny you say that too, because my other friend he doesn't pay attention to football, but he does enjoy traveling. He even said like, bro, I come to Oklahoma because at least y'all have decent fast food. We don't even have that.
my grandparents, my dad's parents, they retired to Destin when I was a kid, and so living in Orlando, we drive up to go to Destin to go see them for Christmas. Like this is like late '80s, early '90s period.
Yeah.
And then they said, we don't we're going to move to Arkansas, and it's like one of those boring states in the continental U.S., Arkansas. And it's like I remember I would go with my dad I take trips and like this. Where goes if I see your grandfather? I'm like, oh god, that's like a 5-6 hour drive from like OKC to where he lives in Arkansas. Like, oh, I hate that drive. And I was like, okay, we'll go see my grandparent. It's like, we'll see my grandfather. It's like, my grandfather was just like hanging on, and he just got worse and worse over the years. And then finally they put him in the home.
Yeah.
And so it got to the point where all he did was like sit around the home and watch MASH on TV all day. And as a gift, my dad got him MASH on DVD, but he never watched DVDs. You know why? Because MASH was just on TV all day. Like on like TV Land or whatever. He didn't like, why watch the DVDs? It's on, I'll just watch an episode. The marathons on TV Land. So,
so you're telling me it was Comedy Central before Comedy Central with The Office?
No. So you're quoting that. I think of old school Comedy Central. I miss old school Comedy Central with like Mystery Science Theater 3000 when it was like a regular back then. This is pre South Park days, by the way. So
yeah.
That was an old boy. We got talking about Comedy Central all of a sudden. But yeah, Arkansas is terrible. It sucks. I hate it. I never have to go there on purpose ever again. Thankfully. Because it just got really more sad and depressing each time I went.
When you mentioned that too, it made me think when we moved to the SEC, there is a scenario where Texas could lose to Arkansas, Bama, and OU all in the same year, losing to all them crimson colors.
I mean, well, number one, I think it's inappropriate to consider those teams wearing crimson. I mean, those are our colors. I mean, they need to file a copyright or need to file a permission slip, or they need to get like how movies need to get copyright permission to use like songs and stuff. I think it feels the same way for us. And, so I when we join the SEC and actually play football, we need to like collect some money from Alabama for allowing them to wear our colors. I just think they
use the exact same shade of crimson. I can vouch for that.
It's not the exact same. Like theirs is slightly more pinkish.
As far as I'm aware, it's the exact same one because
ours is a little darker. Theirs is a little more pinkish, crimson. Ours is a little darker, but even so, regardless of all that, I just think it's inappropriate to allow them to wear our colors.
Cease and desist.
Yeah, well, we're new to the club, and we're like the new boss at the office where I'm not going to interfere. I'm just here to observe, pay no attention to me, and go on about your business. And then like a week or two later, you say, all right, I've observed what you're doing, and here's what you're doing wrong, and here's what we're going to change. That's what Oklahoma's going to be.
It's going to be like the video.
Pay us no mind. We're just here to observe you go about your day and pay no attention to us taking notes. Mm-hmm.
And in 2 weeks, what you're telling me is OU's going to show up with a paintball gun.
Well, that's day one. You want to make an impression. No need to run. Your fates have already been sealed.
That was such a brilliant video.
It was
so
very,
funny.
very, yeah. Did I mention I hate the Aggies? I really hate the Aggies. Like,
about 4 or 5 times. Yeah.
I need to keep repeating it. Like, I hate them.
But here's the question: who do you hate more, the Aggies or Baylor?
That's different. See, that's different kinds of hate. I think Baylor, the whole program and institution, should be burned to the ground for basically creating this horrible rape culture on their campus. That's a different kind of hate. Aggies
are cults.
Aggies are cult, and like they're just ridiculous human beings. So like to grab apparently like the cadets like grab their nuts so they can feel the pain of the team if they lose. They're just stupid.
Yeah,
they're just stupid people. Like my dream is to go down there one day and just walk all over their grass and see if anyone has the balls to come up and say anything to me. I'll walk all.
Oh, they
I will walk all over their grass. Period. And he froze. Or am I gone? Am I gone? Oh, you're there.
No. I think we might have lost Josh. Yeah.
Oops. You would. You know they would.
Oh, is he back?
Yeah.
Kind of back? Nope. Not yet.
Nah.
He's kind of like this.
Yeah. Oh, man. I think we might have just lost Josh, if anything.
Kind of like that. It's like this.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there he is. Are you back now? We see you moving.
I should be back. I was here the entire time. I could hear you.
You know, you were frozen. You were
you were frozen on our end.
You were like in that one episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where like there's pockets of space and time where freezing people, and so that was you.
Oh, I was experiencing what you had last night of going back in time. Apparently,
I mean that was fun.
I see a lot of lip flap.
It was a lot of fun watching a play in the third quarter develop, like, and then all of a sudden I'm back to the first quarter. It's like, hey, remember the first quarter? Yes, I watched it like an hour and a half ago. Oh, but we're here now. Okay. Oh, we're back. Now we're at commercial. The commercials. Oh, there's an interview from half. It was a. I just wish I could have gone farther into the future and got some lottery numbers, and then when Powerball, then you would never see my ass again because I would just disappear into the night. And just because this is a terrible world we live in, I'm just gonna
like Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, exactly. I will pull a Brock Lesnar. I will find a place far away from humanity and just sit on a pile of money and just wait till I die.
So like Brock Lesnar.
Exactly. Well, Brock's working again. Apparently, Brock decided to. Vince wrote him a giant check because he's desperate and he needs anything. And Brock has a new haircut and a beard, so he's
part-time.
Brock has serious like anime villain vibes right now. Like he's got anime villain. Like he's like a character out of Tenjo Tenge, which nobody knows what I'm talking about when I say that.
I don't even know.
I don't either. So
see, I made a reference to a mid-aughts, violent porn anime. They took out the porn for the TV anime version. They kept it in the manga though. Very important. Very important.
Okay.
Very important. Very important.
Gavin sounds so disappointed in me. He's like, all right.
Yeah, I am.
I'm kind of
like that guy in Star Trek that just has the face palm over the head. Is kind of how I feel.
It's not the first time Gavin's been disappointed in me tonight. I've heard. I could tell, but that's okay.
And it won't be the last time either. At least
I disappoint lots of people on a regular basis, so I'm used to it.
All right, guys, let's then wrap this up. So, Gavin, nutshell it, but what do you expect from Nebraska this weekend?
I'm just gonna expect, like, if anything, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a complete rollover, but I'm gonna see where it's gonna be OU being very dominant against Nebraska. As far as for as many points, I should say they should be in that 40-50 range, of course. The only thing I want to see is if they can stay consistently on defense, because I know we played against Western Carolina, which they kind of got their act together, but let's see how they do, with a little bit more of a tougher competition than Western Carolina. That's kind of all I can say at this point.
Final score prediction?
You know what? I'm probably going to say maybe around 63-21, somewhere in there. Okay. Sean, what about you? What's your prediction for Nebraska?
That's a pretty dominant win. 63-21. I'll take that. I'll 55-17. It's fine. The defense is averaging. They're only giving up 17.5 points a game right now, so that's good.
Yeah, but then again, you got to take away that 35 points from
But no. If you average it out, 35-0 divide 17.5 points.
I know, but that's that's still
that's the joke.
Outlier.
The law of averages. Is there
the joke?
Is there anything else you're going to be looking forward to with Nebraska?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I expect Big Noon Kickoff to have a lot of footage talking about the good old days of this rivalry to educate people who weren't alive then. I expect I expect OU to murder, death, kill Nebraska in the first half, mess around a little bit in the second half, but then the defense makes a few plays and everyone calms down. So
like on your stream, so that's about right.
So Gus Johnson, like, does Scott Frost have a few tricks up his sleeve? Only down they're only down 21 now. Nebraska not going away. Nebraska not going away yet, Joel Klatt. Not going away yet.
There's 1 minute left, Gus. Yeah, my prediction is I think we're gonna get a final look at what the offensive line and the defense is going to be, at least for the starters. I think there's not going to really be any rotation.
Will Andrew Rame actually start this week? Because
that's a good question.
Because he did it. He got backup due this week. Because if a certain someone named Andrew would get the vaccine, he wouldn't have to go through all this crap.
Oh, and that's the reason why. That makes sense now. That makes sense.
Look. If he has a legitimate health reason, fine. But how many of you out there have an actual legitimate health reason? It's a very small number of you. It's a very small number. Andrew, it would be super cool since you're the center and you touch the ball all the time and you're around our star quarterback. If you want to avoid the pain in the ass, like weekly COVID test that you have to go through, get the damn vaccine.
Yeah.
Please, like you're kind of an important. You're not some backup punter. You're not Reeves Manchu or whatever. Like, come on, bro. Do us all.
Solid.
A solid. Yeah, thank you.
Do us a solid. Yeah.
Do us a solid.
I still expect that we're gonna see like that's what it's gonna be is finalizing that. I do think we're gonna see a lot of two backs with the running back, a 2-set formation for it. So with Kennedy,
we saw a lot of that like on Saturday. So
y'all did. Okay. Well, I expect like that kind of be the big thing. I expect. I mean, if I really realistically, I really do think it's going to be like a 56-14.
I'll tell you what though. Like we finally got to see Knowles and Hudson play.
I heard they were good.
I mean,
Knowles apparently is going to be the third string.
Yeah.
They look like midget. I mean, they look like midgets out there. They are tiny. They are tiny running backs. So I'm not trying to take away from what they did or accomplished. Like it's great. It is Western Carolina. But I'll tell you what, you see Kennedy Brooks and Eric Gray out there, and then you see Knowles and Hudson out there and how tiny they are. It's like, oh my God. Heaven help us all. Heaven help us all.
But I will say, I got to give credit for Knowles, though, and I'm just saying this as from an off football, because he's actually going for a, basically for his meteorological degree and everything.
That's great.
But and I got to say, I actually was kind of looked and listened to some of those weather forecasts and everything else though too. He's really good.
They played one of his during the pay-per-view. But my point is, it's like they both look like if those two took the wrong hit in a game that mattered,
they're not going to be on that.
They're not coming back in the game. So it's just I'm not trying to like be that guy, but it's like, man, they look small out there.
Running back is still a concern, but at least they're getting reps and stuff, so it's not throwing a fresh guy in there at this point.
Yeah, but
who has no experience? A greenhorn.
We need Kenny Brooks and Eric Gray to stay healthy, by all means.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's a big thing, and also we got to make sure our offensive line watch where they're blocking with their running backs too, because you do not want to have an MCL or ACL tear at this point of the year.
No. Knock on wood on that one. So. Like I said, I think it's going to be 56-14. Unless OU's feeling very generous, I think they'll open up then another can of whoop ass and make it over 70. I do think they're going to score points on them. I think they're out to win this, and I think they were slighted from Nebraska, namely Scott Frost, not wanting to play this game. But it is what it is at this point. But I'm going to wrap it up. So I want to thank Gavin and Sean for joining in tonight. I really do appreciate it. I really enjoy when you all come on. I do appreciate also the viewers on here as well. I think I saw like 5 viewers. So, hey, slowly making those numbers go up. Slowly. I'm jealous of Sean's, but slowly making those numbers tick up. But everyone go to Sean's channel. I think he does the watch alongs. He's going to have another one for Nebraska. Are you going to have any more for other games this weekend?
I'm only planning for Nebraska.
Okay.
If I knew ahead of time Tulane was going to beat Ole Miss or something, I'd definitely do that. But I'm just going to chill and watch it. Like, I kind of like when watch-alongs are early. I get them out of the way, and I can enjoy the rest of my day watching football.
The irony of the rooster kicks.
I know, right?
I know, right? So again, guys, comment, rate, subscribe. I really appreciate it. Again, I hit 100. I'm not going to include the Western Carolina preview one because I do think that one is an anomaly. But hey, guys, we're here every Sunday from 8 to about 9:30, just talking about the game from the previous day and then looking forward to the next week at this point. And again, I think we've got everything with this at this point. So I'm going to let everybody go, and I'll see y'all next week. Have a good evening.
Later.